Hello everyone and welcome back to Art a la Carte and welcome to this Sketch With Me video. I love doing these Sketch With Me videos because it shows you how, at least how I as an artist practice. Practicing is something that, unless you do it, practicing can be something that is a little bit challenging to know exactly how to go about practicing. And I think every artist has a little bit of a different way that they practice. So I think when an artist shows you the actual nitty-grittiness of their sketchbooks or actually films themselves practicing sketching and different things, that for me, watching those kind of videos really helps me. It encourages me, it gives me ideas, and it gives me ideas of how I can practice. One thing I always struggle with is keeping my figure drawings looking like they are actually not statues, that they have movement and that they are not just stiff and that they have unique poses and things like that. So this is one thing that I regularly sketch. Sometimes I will even do a little figure drawing sketch up, even daily. If I'm wanting to warm up before I do a painting or something, I will just do some sketchings. And this is one that I practice a lot because I find with drawing people, if I don't practice it a lot, weekly or daily, that I can definitely notice it in my sketching. I was doing some drawing and just kind of felt that my figures were really stiff. I'm going to do a little sketch session and just draw some figures. And so I thought, hey, I will bring you along for the sketching journey. So you're going to notice in this SketchUp, I am doing it digitally. I draw both digitally and traditionally. And I don't have a preference. I like drawing both ways. I do find that drawing digitally, when I'm doing just fun SketchUps, I'm not so much nervous about wasting paper or messing up. That was something I struggled with a lot when I was a younger artist and art supplies were hard to come by. You know, someone would get me a sketchbook and I didn't want to sketch in it because I didn't want to waste the paper, because I knew that half the time that I would sketch something that I would mess it up and then that was paper wasted. And it was really hard for me to practice because I only wanted to put perfect work in there. And as I have grown in my art journey, I have, come to the realization that messing up on a picture is actually part of the process of learning, and that your mess ups are just as important as your successes. So I don't find that I struggle with that as much, but still I think deep down, I'm still like, well, I don't want to have like tons of paper and sketchbooks just filled with half-finished drawings. I want to be able to just have my good drawings in those. So if I'm going to do something that I know that's not going to be a finished piece, or if I'm going to do a whole bunch of these like in this, I will draw sometimes just digitally on my cintiq tablet. Because of the tablet I have, it mimics almost precisely the feel that I would have if I were drawing traditionally. I mean, there's a little bit of difference, but for the most part, with the way that I have my pencil tool set up, it really does mimic just sketching with like a cool erase color pencil. So you'll see when I do Sketch With Me is that sometimes I do it traditionally, sometimes I do it digitally. And to me, they're both my favorites. I don't have a one that's more favorable than others. I do try not to erase when I'm doing a sketch, unless it gets really muddy and I really like the sketch and I'm trying to pull something out. I might go out and I might go back and clean up some of the lines a little bit. But it's really important when you're doing sketches that you leave the foundations of how you built this up. So in most all of my sketches, you're going to see the shapes that I used to build it up. You're going to see the gesture drawing behind it. You'll see then the lines a little bit darker as I kind of decide which lines I like and which ones I don't like. I will go back over maybe with a darker shade of that pencil and pull out the lines. But you can still see behind it the building blocks. And for me, that's like taking notes in a class. If I see an artist sketch and you can see all the messiness underneath it, I can see how that picture was created. And that is vital to me to learn from them. And even from myself, I go back, I can see how did I build that character up. So if you sketch, which I hope you do, don't be so worried about erasing. If something isn't turning out the way you want it, the arm's not right, just draw over top of it. A good thing to remember is to draw super lightly, not to, push the pencil down super duper hard. That way that when you find the line that you really like, then you can add pressure to your pencil and get that line nice and dark. But when you're doing the initial build up, it's good to keep that nice and light, which is yet another reason why I tend to do digital drawing sketches when I know I'm going to record them, because on paper I draw so lightly that I don't think the camera picks it up very well, and I think it's really hard for you guys to see the initial setup of the drawings. Another thing, when you're sketching and practicing, don't practice the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. So here I want to practice getting movement into my characters, and so I am practicing all different positions and angles and all of that. I mean, they're all people. In this one, they're all female, but they're all completely different. And so don't just practice drawing the same face over and over and over again. Draw faces, draw hands, draw feet, draw full bodies, draw from the back side, from the front side, from the side side, all of that. It'll help you get a more diverse knowledge of drawing figures. And with all those things said, it's also important to keep your sketches, which again is another reason I like to draw digitally, because I can keep, it's easier to store large files of sketches that are digitally rather than large piles of sketchbooks. So I have a lot of my sketchbooks stored digitally. Another benefit to sketching is a lot of times I will find a character design that I really like just by playing around and sketching. I might be able to use later in a story or something like that. So it's a great way to get ideas. Another question that I get a lot is, do I draw from reference? And definitely, especially when I'm doing these sketch videos and I'm practicing something, I want to be looking at the real thing. And there's a lot of different places that I go to find reference. One place that I go to get a lot of my figure drawing references is actually on DeviantArt. There are many people that have accounts on DeviantArt that their sole purpose isn't drawing pictures, but creating reference photos. And they have some really, really amazing ones. I mean, there are sites that you can get that actually have models and things like that, and like the app that I have that does the model. But if you want like real people doing real things and with costuming, clothing, I would highly recommend going over to DeviantArt and checking out those. So after much thought and pondering, I have decided to take a good selection of my more recent sketches that I've done, plus the colored sketches and pictures that I've done for my recent Copic sketchbook, and compile them together into a digital sketchbook. I love collecting people's sketchbooks and looking at sketches. It's one of my favorite things. Really big inspiration to me is to see the raw work. And so that's why I decided to put my sketches into a sketchbook and produce that. Now, ultimately, I would like to be able to have a printed sketchbook. I'm still looking into that and trying to figure out the cost and all of that. But in the meantime, I've decided to upload a digital sketchbook available for you guys to purchase and download and have for your own reference. So here is a sneak peek at my digital sketchbook. Once you download it as a PDF file, it has over 30 pages in it, and each page generally has more than one sketch on it. So I'll just give you a really quick flip through, and you can kind of see some of the pictures there. Some of them you'll have noticed from previous videos I've done. Some of them are just sketch designs, some I've never shown before. But there's a wide variety of all sorts of different topics and things like that. So it's really fun. You can download this sketchbook to your actual computer, or you can put it on your device. Here I'm showing you a digital sketchbook that my friend Will Terrell did, and I have that on my phone, which is just awesome to flip through. You can put it on your smartphones, on your tablets, anything like that as well. So again, this sketchbook also contains all of the pictures from my Copic sketchbook, which Saturday's video is going to be a sketchbook tour. I'm going to show you each sketch in that sketchbook there. But if you want to get a sneak head peek on that, head over and pick up that sketchbook. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me. And until next time, God bless you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye. So putting in her hair coloring, again, coming up with the same kind of fun, not a problem, but a thing with colored pencils is that tone paper just makes your colors so vibrant. So a little goes a long way.